Find the best collection of Brian's resources on our Facebook page. If you're on Twitter, you can be among the first every morning to find out what today's show will be about. Just follow Brian at Brian J. Fisher.
Hi, and welcome back to this Tuesday edition of Focal Point on AFR Talk. You may remember that we had Steve Lonegan on this program, conservative candidate for the Republican nomination for Senate in New Jersey. The primary election is being held today. And Steve Lonegan has a 74-10 lead over his challenger, so he looks like a shoo-in to be the Republican candidate for Senate in New Jersey, going up against Cory Booker, who's got nationwide name recognition, but he is embroiled in one scandal after another. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as that campaign unfolds. But it's possible that Steve Lonegan, who is it's in his DNA. He is a conservative in his DNA. He may have a shot at Cory Booker because he is, as they say, scandal-plagued. More wonders of liberal governance, D.C. The ambulance that's designed to carry the President of the United States to the hospital if something happens ran out of gas. It was part of the motorcade. They have a busted fuel gauge on it. They haven't repaired it. It hadn't been filled up with gas. It ran out of gas. Who runs D.C.? Liberals run D.C. They had another ambulance that burst into flames. So last night they had one ambulance, the one that's responsible to take the president to the hospital. It runs out of gas. It's dead. It had to be towed. And they got another ambulance that burst into flames, burned up on the side of the road. The wonders of liberal governance. And don't forget, in Detroit, run by liberals for 40 years, only 1/3 of their ambulances even run. Less than half of their street lights even work. Now, two more clips before we go to the phones, 888-589-8840, clips 7 and 8. This is kind of a combination of immigration and healthcare. Got another sad story, a heart-wrenching story about a mom whose 17-year-old or 18-year-old senior in high school killed by an illegal alien from Belize, somebody that had absolutely no right even to be in this country, and her son is dead because of an illegal alien. That's why we say border security, period. That's an 18-year-old son who would be alive today if we had a secure border. So that's our immigration plan as conservatives. It's got 3 words to it: border security, period. That's it. Seal it up for all kinds of reasons. Now, anyway, one thing you might not be aware of, again, under Obamacare and under the Health and Human Services, just what kind of benefits, healthcare benefits, can go to immigrants. Here is a Department of Health and Human Services official testifying before the House Ways and Means Committee last week before they left town, talking about what immigrants who live in the United States on temporary visas, what they are eligible for under Obamacare. Let's listen.
It was my understanding it was just going to be those that are citizens of the United States or here as permanent legal residents. Are there folks beyond that that are eligible for tax credit, taxpayer subsidies under this program?
You have to be a citizen or lawfully present.
Lawfully present. What does that mean?
Well, you could be here on a student visa and be eligible.
Okay. So a student from Germany comes to the United States to do 4 years of college. That student is going to be subsidized by taxpayers for health insurance?
They are eligible for subsidies depending on their income, yes.
Okay. Somebody comes here to the United States on a travel visa, has a visa for a certain period of time, a number of months, and perhaps wants to stay longer. Will that person be able to apply for tax-subsidized insurance coverage while here?
Well, if they overstay the visa, then no.
But they're able to apply while they're here legally, lawfully?
I believe so, yes.
You believe that? Foreign student from Germany will be funding his health care while he's here. If he's here on a tourist visa, a tourist can get subsidized by you and me for their health care while they are in the States. Now, one of the huge problems with Obamacare, and this is clip number 8, and the guy that's giving testimony here is a guy by the name of Gary Cohen. He's the insurance oversight director. And one of the problems, remember, that they ran into is there was no way to confirm, to verify income. And the Obama administration says we can't do it. It's impossible. We don't have the technology for it. We're not tooled up to do it. We've got no way to verify income. So we're telling the people that handle this, we're telling them, just take their word for it. Whatever number they put down for their income, you just take their word for it. Now, obviously, the incentive there is for people to lowball their income so they can get more of a subsidy. So they're going to lie. It's just ripe for fraud. And yet Obama said, hey, just take their word for it. Don't ask. There's no way to verify it. We're not going to be able to be hooked up with the IRS in time to be able to verify income. So that's a huge problem. I mean, everybody says that's a huge problem because of the possibilities for fraud that are created. So this Mr. Cohen, this Gary Cohen, is asked this by Jim Gerlach, this representative, about this whole business of verifying income. Here's what he had to say.
Mr. Cohen, I'd like to clarify one of the issues brought up earlier. There was talk of the hub that will verify transactions in the marketplace. Can you clarify, will any personal data be stored on the hub?
No, the hub just routes information from the secure data sources, IRS, Social Security, et cetera, so that we can verify information that people put on their applications.
Just 3 weeks ago, we had by rule a statement that said you were not ready to fully verify income. What has changed in those 3 weeks?
What's changed is that we've looked at our process and we have confirmed that we are able to verify income for 100% of the applicants who will be submitting applications to the marketplaces.
You can verify for 1 to 2%?
100%.
100%?
Yes, we will be verifying.
So if that is the case, I'm just really curious how in just 3 weeks, with a rule being put out just 3 weeks ago to say we do not have the technology to be able to do that, and yet 3 weeks later we're now seeing, oh, all of a sudden we have the technology to do that. How did that happen?
That's not right. We said we were going to sample, and now we've concluded that the sample size is going to be 100%.
Oh, man. What gibberish. What gobbledygook. You know, first he says he's asked, is there going to be any personal data on the hub? And he says, oh, of course not. No, it just routes information from the IRS and Social Security. What is that? That is private information. So basically say your life is going to be an open book. And it's a huge opportunity for fraud. We've talked about it before. These navigators could be working for Planned Parenthood, could be working for a union. They're going to help people navigate through the system to get health care. You're going to have to give them your IRS information. You're going to have to give them your Social Security number. You have no idea who these people are. You know, they're paid by the hour. They're union types. They're probably low skilled, or they'd have some kind of full-time job. And nobody's doing any background checks on these people to find out if they're even remotely trustworthy. And they're going to have all of your personal information, and they're going to have access to IRS information online. They're going to have access to your Social Security information. I mean, the possibility for invasion of privacy is absolutely huge. The biggest invasion of privacy this could facilitate in the history of the United States. And then you've got this deal where the same guy is saying, hey, 3 weeks ago we told you it was impossible. We didn't have the technology in place. We can't possibly verify income. Now we're saying we can verify 100% of it. And Representative Black says, well, how did this happen? What mysterious, magical thing happened in the last 3 weeks that took you from being unable to verify to being able to say we can verify 100%? And he doesn't answer the question. I mean, I honestly believe that he just decided to lie. He said, yeah, we can do it because it's easier to ask forgiveness than permission. So he's going to say, yeah, we could do 100% of it. Then they'll get into it. Oh, I'm sorry, we ran into technical glitches. We didn't foresee them. We couldn't have anticipated them. There was no way we could have seen this particular technological problem. So no, we cannot verify 100% of the information. That's how that's going to play out. All right, 888-589-8840. Let's go to Lee in Plano, Texas. Lee, welcome to Focal Point. What's on your mind?
Well, I wanted to let you know that what my senator said when I called his office.
Ooh, want to know this. Is this Cornyn?
Yes.
Yeah, because Cruz is all over this. Cornyn is not. So tell me what Senator Cornyn's office said.
He claimed in the local office here in Plano that he is a co-signer. He signed on the first day. And I said, when I called his office, the Washington office that I couldn't get through to today, about 2 weeks ago, and complained that he was not on the bill, letting them know that we expected him to participate and fight that for us. The girl there said, it's not that he's not for defunding Obamacare. He just is not on board with the Mike Lee letter that with that continuing resolution. And I said, they're all tied in together, is what I understand. And he said, no, they're not. So I don't know what he's talking about.
They're just messing with you. I'll be honest with you. They're just messing with you. They want to appear like they are opposed to Obamacare without actually doing anything about it.
It's online with that bill.
Yeah.
To defund Obamacare. So
and I'm looking right at the page right now, Lee. I'm looking right at it, and John Cornyn is not a signer. He's undecided. He hasn't said he won't pledge to defund Obamacare, but he hasn't committed to it either. So he's leaving himself kind of in the middle, and then trying to convince his constituents, oh yeah, I'm against Obamacare. I want to defund this thing. Well, exactly how do you plan on doing that, Senator? If you're not going to do it with the Ted Cruz, Mike Lee plan, maybe that's not perfect. It seems fine to me, but let's assume for the sake of argument, it's not perfect. Okay, fine. What is your plan to defund Obamacare if it's not the Ted Cruz, Mike Lee continuing resolution route? Exactly how do you intend to go about defunding this? And they just simply do not have an answer. So they're trying to make it look like they oppose Obamacare without really doing anything meaningful about it.
Well, I argued with the guy, and I said, I'm talking about the bill, Ted Cruz's bill, that specifies that his intention is to defund Obamacare, not shut down the government.
Yes.
And he said he's on board with that. He signed it the first day. He said, but he's not. The thing on the continuing resolution is separate. He says it's two separate things. And I said, no, it's, from what I understand, it's not. It's all tied in together. And he said, well, you're confused.
Nah, he's the one that's confused. I mean, there's going to be a continuing resolution, and this continuing resolution, because we haven't had a budget for 4.5 years now because of Harry Reid. The Senate will not adopt the budget. So all we have are these continuing resolutions. So one big, massive reapproval of government spending. It's the only thing that's on the table. When he talks about some separate mechanism, there is no other thing. I mean, there is nothing else. It's the continuing resolution or nothing.
So let him know who you are and tell him that you want to get it straightened.
You invite him, Lee. You tell him where you're getting the information. And if somebody from Senator Cornyn's office wants to come on this program and talk about it, I would welcome them. They welcome to come on this program anytime they want.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, Lee, thank you for that call. Focal Point AFR Talk. We'll be right back with the last segment after this. Stay with us, 888-589-8840.